What's up? This is ROH World Heavyweight Champion Cody Rhodes, and you're watching Ringmasters.
What's up, guys? Welcome to yet another episode of Ringmasters. My name is Austin, and joined with me today is my lovely partner, Chad.
Yes. I just want to say real quick, great job on the podcast. You know, I got my shift covered so I could make sure I was available today.
Yes.
So I had to work during Ringmasters, but you and Josh did a great job filling in.
Yes, thanks again to Josh for filling in last Wednesday for that podcast. And this is a very special edition, and I cannot thank him enough for joining us today. We have the lovely Adam Pacitti from Cultaholic
The very
joining
lovely
us.
Pacitti.
Oh, incredibly lovely Adam
Yes.
Pacitti joining
More
us.
lovely, if anything.
Oh, yes.
With his nice,
Lovely,
beautiful
lovely,
bald
lovely,
head.
lovely.
Yes. You hasn't updated his Skype picture. I'm not seeing the baldness.
No, that Skype picture's about 6 or 7 years old. Is it the me grinning like
Yeah,
a checker
it's you.
cat
It's you
holding a
grinning at the
moment?
Eric Bischoff show. Yes.
Right, yes. Oh, no, it's not the one I thought. That's fine.
Yeah, but
How's it
yeah,
going,
so
guys?
yeah, it's going great. Yeah, it's great to have you. I mean, like I can tell right now, Chad
Dude,
is marking out
I'm
like
marking
crazy.
out hardcore, like for real. Like I thought,
You're gonna be
like you know,
disappointed, Chad.
like we got
Not an
Cody.
exciting man.
I'm very excitable. We got Cody Rhodes to do a soundbite on the podcast, and I treated it as like the biggest deal in like the entire world. So this is gonna
Cody
be
Rhodes,
awesome.
what's he ever done? Like, just about-
But yeah,
Wasn't he Stardust at one point? Like
Yeah.
that kid was going somewhere.
Never.
didn't he wear a stupid face mask? I don't remember that at all. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about a lot of stuff. I mean, Cultaholic has been absolutely incredible. You guys launching. I think I checked last. You guys are at 188,000 subscribers, only being up for
Right.
about a month or two, which that's incredible.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely insane. We're really, really happy. And, you know, we thought when we launched, maybe things would slow down a bit. Like, we had all this interest and there was lots of hype around it at the beginning. We thought,
Oh, yeah,
hey, maybe
that's for
that's
sure.
sort of peter off a little bit. But no, the subscriptions are still growing really quickly. People are still pledging on Patreon and liking the Facebook, all of that stuff. But most importantly, people are watching the videos, which is nice.
Oh yeah, very nice. I mean, I'm one of those Patreon subscribers because you guys
Thank
freaking deserve it, in my opinion. You guys are
Yeah,
incredibly
it's fine.
talented, every single one of you. I want to real
And Jack.
quick, yeah. Oh, and Jack. No, Jack. Like shout out to Jack. Seriously, that guy has been killing it on the website because I've read all of his lists and news stuff that he's put out. That guy kills it like every single day.
Yeah, no, he is. Of articles on the website. There's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes that people don't see. People just think it's a YouTube channel. But no, Jack's doing a tremendous amount of work there as well, as we all are.
Oh yeah, you guys are all doing great. Like when the website first launched, and I saw how much content you had already created when it launched, I was like, these guys are not messing around. They are making sure that they make a huge statement.
And it's almost like, you know, you guys, I don't want to say it came out of nowhere because, I mean, you guys are very recognizable and, like, people know you. But, like, I remember when you, like, launched your guys' like, hype video of all of you guys, like, you know, putting on the Cultaholic shirts. I got me super excited. And, like, for you guys' time away, it did nothing more but, like, just build up the anticipation. Like, God, I want them back. And now that you guys are back, I know I'm not at Patreon level because I'm broke, but I definitely have watched all the videos, and you know, it's if the day comes where I do get a nice payday, my Patreon is definitely coming for you guys. So
Well, I appreciate that a lot. You know, it was hard. We launched, that video went live, and everything happened a lot sooner than we anticipated. You know, like I think we were planning on leaving What Culture a lot later. That had to be sped up for various reasons, and so yeah, it was a mad scramble to get everything sorted. And like, it wasn't our plan to launch without an office and a studio. We've had to really work hard, and fortunately, the Patreon guys have helped out so much in making that happen. And we're in there as of. I mean, we've got access to it now, but there's no internet. But I think the internet should be in as of tomorrow. So we're going to be working full time back in there. In fact, not tomorrow, because we're going for Christmas drinks with our Patreon users tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I forgot you guys
Even
talked
more
about that in the Discord. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, looking forward to it. A lot of people are up in Newcastle for the WCPW, not WCPW, the Defiant Wrestling show at the O2 Academy. Tickets still available, and so we thought we would capitalize on that and just go for drinks with people.
Now, what's your favorite Christmas drink? Your drink of preference?
Mulled wine. Goodness me. Like, there's only one Christmas drink as far as I'm concerned. Like, I don't actually know. We don't have eggnog over here. I know that's a Christmas drink. I've seen it on The Simpsons. But
well, don't let The Simpsons
here,
fool you. It's not as popular as they depict it to be.
Is it not?
I mean, it is,
alcoholic,
but
right?
I feel like as it's more of a it's dying as the millennials age. I feel like I know none of my friends drink eggnog. The only time I'll get eggnog is if it's at a McDonald's and like the eggnog shakes. I'll get one then.
Do you have mulled wine?
I don't know.
I mean, yes and no. We do. Because I know when me and my friends hung out this last weekend, they had she had like a special like mulled Halloween wine that we broke into.
All right.
It's the best. You know, I made 3 bottles of mulled wine yesterday, and I left it in. I slow cooked it, and I left it in my slow cooker overnight without the lid on, not thinking, and the whole pissing lot evaporated by the morning. I don't have any mulled wine anymore. And I was so excited. I had 1 glass yesterday. I'm livid.
But that 1 glass was extra good.
It was worth it. It was worth
He made every drop count. He made every drop count.
Talking about wine preferences with Adam Pacitti on a podcast.
Exactly. Like you didn't think this was gonna happen.
Like I can die a happy man now.
No.
Forget wrestling. I don't want to talk about
Exactly.
Royal Rumble coming up. Women's Royal Rumble.
With no
anything.
Yeah.
Talk about wine.
Yeah, but real quickly, because I know there's going to be an audience that wants to hear about this, but we're going to just real quickly get this out of the way. The whole situation that fell out with Adam Blampier. I don't want to cover it too much because I feel like he covered enough in his own video that he released earlier in the week. I mean, do you have anything really that you want to add to the situation? Like, because I don't know exactly what more there is to add, just because I feel like he made his statement and will.
Yeah, I think that's it. You know, like, I would say that anyone that hasn't seen his video that he put out this week should go and do so. The guy is very sincere in his actions. I believe he is getting help now.
That's good.
To make him a better person. What he did was, of course, disappointing and wrong and not to ever be condoned. But I do think he's trying to become a better person. And yeah, I hope he's okay. You know, I spoke to him last week, and he seems to be doing all right. But obviously, it must be difficult for him. But essentially, it's just this awful situation in which people who don't deserve to have been hurt have been hurt, and you know they're the priority. I really hope they're okay. But it's very difficult to see Adam in a state that he's in, also just as somebody that I consider a friend and have known for so long and I've worked so closely with. So yeah, I think he explains everything as much as he can. And yeah, just I hope everyone involved is doing okay.
I absolutely agree with you.
Absolutely.
Because I mean I consider all of you guys really good friends of me. I mean, you offered me the moderator position for your Discord, which I cannot thank you guys enough for.
No, thank you for doing it.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, dude. Like, seriously. And I was subscribed to Extra for, like, since day one, and those live streams that you guys did for Raw and SmackDown were some of the highlights of my year. I mean, you guys were so entertaining and so fun.
Were they?
Oh, I'm not even kidding you, dude. They were freaking hysterical.
It was a very mild year.
No matter what you guys were doing, even if you were freaking passed out asleep, it was hysterical.
Yeah, the problem is, like, we were told, hey, we want to do these weekly Raw and SmackDown streams. It's like, okay, that's cool. But you do realise that generally in a 2-hour episode of SmackDown or a 3-hour, 10-minute episode of Raw, there's probably about 30 minutes of entertaining content. It's really, really difficult to be entertaining when the thing that you're reacting to is in no way entertaining.
Yeah,
like,
right.
You watch a Darren Young versus Titus O'Neil match for the 50th time.
Oh, that's high caliber action.
It's not easy. It's not easy to be fun with that. So Ross and I certainly took the piss. And I remember being called into the meeting room by my bosses, and they were like, oh, "Okay, so we're thinking of revamping Extra again." This is after Ross and I were doing the Nitro ones, and they were like, "So what do you think of the Nitro streams at the moment?" And I went, "I think they're dreadful, Peter. I think they're really bad." And he went, "Good. So do we." Okay. I'm glad I'm doing my job effectively. But no, they were fun. Like, I really enjoy the call-ins and stuff, and I enjoy messing around with Ross. I think that's what people want to see. Like in the reactions, we do the reactions every month, obviously, or sometimes more than once a month. But I think what people really enjoy seeing is just two friends dicking around. Can I say dicking on the podcast?
Dude, go ahead. Dude, go ahead. At this point, it's your show right now.
Thanks
I mean,
very much.
I mean, we've said worse. So
we always talk, and we always do we do analysis and stuff during the thing, and then I get to edit the things, and it's like, oh, it's just not. It's more fun seeing two mates. We want people when they're watching that stuff, we want them to feel like they're in the room with us, watching wrestling with their friends, because I think that's what unfortunately a lot of people miss out on as wrestling fans, is that not everyone has people to enjoy pay-per-views with and live shows with. So that's what we try to provide.
Dude, I couldn't agree with you anymore with that. I mean, those call-ins especially were just so much fun. They ranged from such incredible things. Like, I remember I got my guitar out and played a few times for that. Like, it was crazy. And then there was the one where Kenny got you and Ross married. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. There was that I think that was the one that we got the most drunk ever. That's when we realised that we had to tone it down. I made a hole in the wall. I was pissing around with that.
I forget. Yeah, that was
the trolley, and I backed it into the wall and made a big hole. So I stayed in the office till about 6 a.m, patching up that wall, and then I got a message the next day. It's like, what happened to the wall? I was drunk enough to think I'd just done a great job, and nobody would ever know.
But like, even as somebody who, like, for me, it's, I look at as like just in the audience perspective, and I think there's so many wrestling channels and like wrestling podcasts and stuff that cover the Raws and SmackDowns and pay-per-views, and it is nice to see, and I think that's why Steven Larson, when they do their pay-per-view streams, why it's so entertaining to just watch your friends watch wrestling, because anybody could talk about what's happening in a wrestling show. But the fact that you see people who genuinely like each other that you can relate to and be like, this is just like watching one of my friends, that's why I think stuff like that does really well.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, Stephen Larson, I love those guys. They're one of the people, one of the teams that I contacted. We're doing this big collaborative project and working on it. I think we've got pretty much almost everyone in the world of YouTube wrestling that people ask for, certainly. And they agreed to do it, which is great. I love them. We met them at the WCPW show in Orlando. Just really lovely guys.
Well, listen, I don't know if you heard, but there's a wrestling YouTube channel that just launched today.
You motherfucker.
Known as the Ringmasters podcast YouTube channel, and if you ever need some good up and coming wrestling content with some collaborations, I heard they'd be open.
I'm sure we could figure something out.
You
Not
even
that you put me on the spot or anything here.
Even with Adam freaking Pacitti, you still find time to shill, you piece
Listen,
of
it's all about getting over, all right? No one accuses me of being Finn Balor.
Oh my god. But yeah, I mean, like, the website is incredible. You guys put out incredible content. Ross still killing it with the WTF moments. I mean,
really happy.
Yeah. I'm really, like, even with all the stuff with the issues of the trademarks and stuff like that, he is still, like, just churning out that content, churning out those videos with all the entertainment and all the charisma that he has, because he's just...
Totally. I think it's actually done him a favor, The King Ross stuff, there's only so long that could have gone on. I'm not sure if it was really benefiting him that much anymore. And so just being Ross from Cultaholic, I just don't think it's a bad thing. And certainly, like, now, behind the scenes, he's taking sort of a more formal role in that he's head of editorial. And so as we look to hire new writers, he'll be the go-to contact. So it's actually probably a good thing if all of our writers aren't talking to this bloke that they crown sitting behind a desk, because it's not really him.
Yeah. I think it benefits all of you guys. It gives you all the opportunity to kind of branch out and not be working for somebody else. You're your own boss.
Yeah, totally.
So
it's just there are four of us. It's finding the time. I think one thing that we all agree on, and I think a lot of the fans are saying at the moment, is that we're just sort of doing what culture is, and that was never our plan. But we're putting stuff out that we know will be popular currently, but we are looking to branch out into new series. That's absolutely our priority for the new year, is releasing new stuff And we've got a few series in production now, and there'll be new weekly shows. And they're basically things that we haven't done before, because right now, yeah, we just do it. We do lists, we do news, we do WTF moments. It's just all the stuff we did on What Culture. We want to do new stuff. We want to make stuff that we're really proud of.
And I think that was the big thing too. I mean, from my perspective, I feel like you guys coming back and doing the stuff that everyone was comfortable with. I mean, I can tell you right now, when I first watched that reactions video for Survivor Series, after all those months of not seeing those videos, I mean, it was just like, I just felt it was just such a happy feeling again, because I was just like, yes, I miss this so much. And I think that was the big thing. Yeah, I think that was the big thing, was just making sure that everyone felt like comfortable, like, okay, we're back, we're good to go. And then that's when new stuff starts adding, and everyone's a lot more comfortable with newer content.
Totally. You know, the reactions and prediction stuff was a real worry, because I've worked with Ross in the past, but I've never really done that sort of thing. And it's always really difficult if you're doing something that Adam did. Like, we would never think to do booking videos again with Adam not being with us anymore. And it sort of felt like that. Like, were we going to get a lot of flack? But fortunately, I think like Ross and I work just as well together as Adam and I worked, and we saw a really positive reaction to that, so that's good.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, one of the best moments of the live stream, of the live reactions, when you guys were in What Culture, was when you spilled beer on yourself with Ross and Jack. I mean, Blampier wasn't even in that video, and that's by far one of my favorite moments from the live streams.
Yeah, it happened really early on. We got quite lucky with that. It was a big bottle of, was it Carver or Buck Fizz or something, and I was celebrating, and it absolutely coated me.
Oh yeah, I mean, that was just hysterical, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like, I mean, you guys are amazing, and I'm waiting for Jack to show up, because when Jack shows up in those, yeah, like, that's just gonna be a fun moment.
The current plan is, like, we want to keep it 2 people all the time, because the format just lends itself to 2 people. Like, it's really difficult to edit when, because everybody's talking over each other, and as far as the punishments go, that it's difficult, because you're more likely to tie, and then you've got multiple people having to do punishments. I always think it's just worked better as 2 people. So whether it's Ross or Jack, or me and Jack, or me or Ross, or Sam and Ross, you know, whatever, I think it's going to continue being 2 people, with the exception of maybe Rumble will get a few more people in.
Now, can people expect to see yet another piece of shit cardboard belt that you'll be fighting over?
You know what? I think they can expect to see something a little bit better.
All right.
The Patreon money going to good use.
We'll leave it at that.
Whoa, no, it's not that good.
No, we'll just leave it at that, because I mean, that's perfect.
The old ECW championship belt is now property of Cultaholic.
But yeah, now that we've covered the website and the YouTube channel, which is doing amazing, I mean, like, now is the perfect time to talk about wrestling, because I wanted to get your opinion on exactly the situation with Finn Balor, because that thing, I feel like, has just been my biggest gripe, specifically with Raw, just because of how just abysmal they've been treating this guy, and especially in kayfabe reason, how it doesn't make sense that this guy coming back from injury has not tried to get the title that he didn't lose, because Seth Rollins did the exact same thing against Roman Reigns. So the fact that this hasn't happened with Finn just does not make any sense to me.
It doesn't, but at the same time, there are people on the roster who I'm more entertained by. Like, it does make sense for Finn to come back and be in the title picture immediately, but I'm actually not sure his character is entirely working. I'm not saying he's not over, because he is over. People really like him, but there are people who I would prefer to see in that title picture right
like Jason
now.
Jordan
or Mojo Rawley.
Not necessarily. But, no, like I'm not sure how much it would benefit Finn to come back from a long time away and get beaten up by Brock Lesnar. Doesn't that do him just as much damage, if not more, than a slow burn to somebody that he can actually beat? Because they're not going to let Finn beat Brock.
Which I didn't. I thought that was the reason the Demon character existed, just so that way they could hand a loss to Brock. Because then it's like, oh, like Finn Balor didn't beat Brock Lesnar, the Demon beat Brock Lesnar, and then that could go to Brock getting his win back. That's how I saw them booking it in their heads.
See, so. I feel like Brock losing to Demon Finn would maybe not ruin Brock, but I think Brock would take a pretty large hit from being beaten.
He lost to a 60-year-old man in about a minute and a half.
Right, but the Goldberg, like, that's still, like, you know, there's still that the mystique of Goldberg, and I don't know, that feud was booked so well that, like...
That lasted a good 4 months.
Yeah, but I don't know, I feel like Demon Finn shows up and beats Brock. I don't know. I think...
It's too close to Mania, you know, their plan is still very much to have Roman beat Brock, and that's it. Like, it's just not going to happen before that.
Mm-hmm. And that just kind of takes the winds out of my sails, because I'm just like, we're doing this again. I mean, can we not try something different? I mean, it's just like, I understand that Roman's going to be the top guy no matter what, but I'm just like, can we try with something else? Because I feel like, I mean, I understand that right now the only way to make Roman seem like the top guy is by beating Brock Lesnar, but I'm like, he beat The Undertaker last year, and now we're just going to have him beat Brock? Like, it's just like...
Well, I look at it as like we can't have Brock taking losses, but also, in theory, you know, you don't want Roman to lose, but you just put the Intercontinental Championship on Roman. So, are you going to have Roman lose the IC belt, or are you going to have both belts on the line at Mania? Which is something I really hope doesn't happen, but also, like, how else are you going to book this? You know, Roman can't lose to some random person on the Raw roster. Mm-hmm. Like, I guess you could make it like a kind of like a cheap win, but like that still doesn't make Roman look good.
And at the same time, like you're gonna make Brock Lesnar try to make Brock Lesnar care about the Intercontinental Championship, which, let's be honest, he won't. He won't care. Even no matter how much Paul puts it over, he won't care.
Yeah, I get it. No, I think that's the key to it, though, is having Paul put him over. I wouldn't be anti seeing a title versus title Hogan Warrior sort of thing happen. I think that makes the IC belt feel huge, and when Roman wins both, I think it elevates both titles. I'm not sure it's a bad thing to happen, but I think he'll probably drop it before then anyway.
I think so, but I just feel like it's going to be really like sloppily and quickly handled. But I'm willing to see them prove me wrong, though. Yeah. But also, like, the big thing I wanted to talk to you two about was Mojo Rawley, your boy, turning heel.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic. You know what? Like, obviously, my love of Mojo Rawley is somewhat tongue in cheek. There's no no secret there. But I think that the heel Mojo Rawley thing could work, because to me, like, Mojo Rawley is dreadfully annoying. He is that drunk guy at a party that you do not want to be in the same room as. So it doesn't lend itself to. That character doesn't lend itself to being a good guy. He's annoying as hell, a real pain. So making him heel and doing that sort of, he thinks that everybody likes him and everybody's having a great time and everybody's getting hyped when they're not. I think that works for me. I think he's going to really nail it.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think he could do a good job. I just found it kind of odd the way that it happened, because all the signs were pushing towards Zack Ryder turning heel, and then they kind of disappeared off of TV for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then they show up to do a random match on SmackDown, and then all of a sudden Mojo's the one that pulls the trigger.
I think it works. I think it works way better though, because like Zack Ryder, you know, he's still to this day, even though he's been booked so poorly, and like they have been tried to like really kill Zack Ryder's popularity, he is still very much over, and I still think, you know, he could play that babyface role way more convincingly than Mojo Rawley. Who's gonna not root for Zack Ryder?
I agree. That's why I was like kind of a little bit iffy about the idea of Zack Ryder turning heel. So the fact that I do think Mojo turning heel was the better option, I just thought it was kind of weird how it happened, because it was kind of sprung in like, oh, by the way, this storyline's still happening.
Even though I do think
weird. They had done stuff on WWE.com and their YouTube channel, but it's not the same as being on TV, so it did feel once again rushed and a bit disjointed, which was a shame. I just hope they stick with it.
Yeah, I mean, that was the same thing they did with Baron Corbin versus The Miz at Survivor Series. Like, they kept it all on Twitter, and only just when the pay-per-view showed up did they show the Twitter videos, because before then they didn't even show the videos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was weird. It's a pretty difficult thing to promote that match anyway, because it was heel versus heel anyway. I know you could argue that Miz isn't a proper heel now because he's getting cheered so much, but he is. They want to present him as a heel, so it was a weird one anyway.
I mean, he is one of the best heels on the roster, and I mean, like, when you think about it, like, yeah, they threw in the line about Miz being upset that Baron Corbin made fun of his pregnant wife. But in reality, the only reason they were fighting was because of brand supremacy, which was the flavor of the month. And it was just like,
well, I mean, it was the only time of the year where Raw and SmackDown go head to head in live
I'm
competition.
gonna staple your head to the wall right now. But yeah, I just like, I don't know. I feel like Miz is just the best heel on the roster, and no one can touch him. So the fact
I
the
think
Baron
he's been
Corbin,
great
the Baron
for
Corbin,
so long, you know. He's I look back at his WWE Championship reign the other day, and I was like, you know what, this is way better than I remember it, because he was actually thoroughly dislikable, and now everyone realizes just how good he is.
Yeah,
It's difficult to hate him now.
Yeah.
I was one of the few people that like I've liked Miz like since his Chick Magnet days. You know, I'm significantly less than I like him now, but like I've been a fan of him since then, and I've always seen him as like, God, this guy is such a douchebag, and his WWE title reign I really liked. Again, I'm one of the only people that liked Michael Cole being his heel kind of lackey. That was about the only thing of Michael Cole I did enjoy at that point. But I really think that, you know, if they ever let him have a world title run again, I think it could be at worst just as good. But I think it'd have a really good story with Miz as the Universal Champion.
I agree. I'd like to see it again.
Yeah, one other thing I wanted to mention too, because me being the Sami Zayn mark that I am, I wanted to talk to you about Sami and Kevin versus Shane McMahon being literally the only thing on SmackDown besides the tag division and the women's division, which do keep themselves going for as much as they can. But it's weird to me because the Authority stuff that's happening on SmackDown pisses me off more than the Authority stuff that's happening on Raw, just because that SmackDown originally established themselves as the show where we're the land of opportunity. We're going to focus on the superstars and the wrestlers, and then it just turns into the Shane McMahon show. I mean, like, that's what Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn says every single week. So I'm just like, and then Shane McMahon's only response to that is that, oh, Sami Zayn looks like a paperboy. His hat's stupid. He dances stupid. And it just like drives me crazy, the fact that the babyfaces do not know what to do against Sami and Kevin because they are so talented.
I agree. How far has SmackDown fallen in this past year? Like everybody at the beginning of the year, all over SmackDown, it was 10 times better than Raw. It was all about wrestling and storylines, and everything felt carefully constructed and well put together. And now, it's getting to this, and it's not as enjoyable at all anymore. No, I totally agree. It's really frustrating. I think Shane is being tremendously overexposed, which isn't to say I don't like Shane, but I don't want to think of him as a wrestler. I don't know why he's in all these matches.
I don't know.
Actually getting proper offensive.
Exactly, being the sole survivor of SmackDown Live before Triple H was the one that had to put him down.
Chasing two men off because he's got a steel chair and he's Shane McMahon.
Exactly. It's crazy the amount of time, and I know it's ridiculous, but I personally say the reason that SmackDown has fallen so far is because their WWE champion for about 6 or 7 months was Jinder Mahal, and I mean, like, credit to the guy he got better, but it was too little too late in my opinion, and they pulled the trigger on him way too fast. If they would have given him a few more months of build-up, I feel like it could have worked better than it did. Not necessarily good, but better. But I just did not. I saw that as one of the killing blows as to why SmackDown's fallen so far.
Yeah, unfortunately, his character devolved into a generic foreign heel, and it could have been more complex and more interesting than that, but it wasn't. And it's a shame. I think it's done him a lot of damage, and it's unfortunate because I think both in the ring and on the mic, he's improved tremendously. And he puts the effort in, and I just think that's pretty done for now.
I just want to see us get the Jinder versus Rob Gronkowski match to finally come to blows. I think you want to get him over as a foreign heel, have him beat a Patriot, like.
Dude, you've got it all figured out.
Yeah, and then Swerve Gronkowski wins.
Yeah, well, I mean, like both shows have devolved into the same like tired storylines that we've seen before, because you've got the foreigner heel on SmackDown, and then you have the two giants trying to slowly push against each other in Big Show and Braun Strowman. Granted, I love Braun Strowman, but like Kane and Kane's just I love Kane too, but like it's just like everyone focused on the Kane being put through the ring, but everything that led up to that was slow and boring, and it just looked just abysmal.
I look at it as like, I don't have a problem with Kane on my TV. I think Kane, Kane's a legend. Kane is a nice, reliable worker. Like, they know they can put Kane in a match, and he's not going to injure somebody. He's not going to fuck up. Like, Kane's dependable. And, and if you do beat Kane, like, you beat Kane, a guy who, for years, decimated people. Mm-hmm. And, like, when he went over on Finn Balor, like, at that time, maybe not so much now, but at that time, I was like, I think Finn Balor could take the loss. I think Kane is, it's not like he lost to James Ellsworth. Kane is still that guy. So, like, I see a Braun Strowman versus Kane feud, and, I think, oh, man, this could go somewhere. And then they do that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I do agree that this storyline can go somewhere, but the fact that guys like Finn Balor are being hurt in the process, I feel like isn't what we need. Because you can have that storyline without hurting one of your up-and-coming talent, and who you tout is the first Universal Champion, but never gets his rematch. So I just don't understand why that's the reason.
Maybe the problem is why Finn Balor isn't over is because they're touting him. No one has tout. They should tweet that he's the first Universal Champion.
Oh God, I forgot about tout. Jesus Christ!
Exactly. See, that's why he's not over. Like, who has tout?
Oh my God, dude! I didn't even remember that. Oh Jesus! But yeah, I mean, I think that covers it. I like the fact that we can have Adam Pacitti on. We can talk about all the website stuff, and then we can just talk pro wrestling because like. That's what we do. That's what he does for a living, and that's what we love to do every single week.
I mean, I was enjoying our wine conversation.
I mean, we can always continue that.
Adam, I have a question, kind of branching out of WWE a bit because, I'm a huge fan of, like, the Indies and New Japan and all those shows like that. I wanted to get your thoughts on Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho at Wrestle Kingdom.
Just so unexpected, a huge get for New Japan. I think Jericho's going to put more effort into this match than anything he's done in the past.
I agree.
5 to 10 years. I honestly can't wait, and it's just going to put so many eyes on a promotion that otherwise a certain type of audience wouldn't be watching. There's a lot of new eyes on that product come January. It's really exciting. Really exciting.
Yeah, and as a longtime fan of New Japan, it makes me really happy that this is putting them on that next level, and I like
WWE needs some competition, and they're certainly the guys that are going to do it.
Yeah, and I hope that this will definitely kind of open up Vince McMahon's eyes and be like, oh man, like we can't have Titus O'Neil versus Samoa Joe on my TV. Like that fans don't care about that. We need to see the top talent. We need to bring back Jimmy Jacobs.
Jesus. No. But yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I feel like, yeah, Adam's got a lot of insight in terms of the indies because, I mean, you doing all the stuff that you did for WCPW, now Defiant. I mean, and your heel run for that as the general manager and for that when I watched WCPW, like, you did an incredible job for someone who hadn't been in a wrestling promotion before, because like you guys did an incredible job, like pushing storylines and helping introduce people to new talent. Because like me personally, I had never paid attention too much to the British wrestling scene, but when I did, and I saw guys like Martin Kirby, I saw guys like Will Ospreay and Zack Sabre Jr. and all these talented guys, I was like, man, I've been missing out for a long ass time, and I got to thank you guys for getting me into that, because when you guys launched your promotion, there was a lot of skepticism because everyone was like, who are these list makers thinking that they can run a wrestling promotion?
I'm not gonna lie to you, I tuned in totally expecting it. I tuned in totally expecting, like, I was so skeptical. I was like, oh man, this. I tuned in specifically to watch it like fail, and I was very impressed with
you guys.
The show.
Yeah, you guys did
even
an
the first
incredible
episode.
job.
I mean, the first 3 months. Awful.
I will say.
It was like speaking personally, my face GM stuff was really, really bad. Some of the matches that were booked in the run up to Built to Destroy, the first big show, were baffling at best. You had Martin Kirby losing in a thing where he had to wear a dress, and don't get me wrong, like the in-ring stuff from all of the wrestlers was fantastic. Like they were never the problem with WCPW, but I think especially initially there were a lot of issues with it. And I think I really hope Defiant works out for them, because there's a lot of people there with a lot of passion working on those things, and a lot of money's been put into it. And yeah, I know they've got their first pay-per-view on Monday, and yeah, I do hope it really works out for them.
I do too.
Especially the guys in the ring are just so.
I think
not a bad wrestler on the roster.
Yeah, I think that's the thing too, is that with what you guys did before the split off into Defiant, was you guys gave such a big spotlight to British wrestling with your guys' YouTube channel, just showing a lot of people whose only exposure may have been WWE or may have been like Ring of Honor. So they might have not have seen a lot of these guys, like say Martin Kirby, or say some of these other guys. And then you managed to get former WWE guys. You managed to have Kurt Angle be in his final match in the UK, which was incredible, against Joe Hendry. I mean, you guys put such a big spotlight for British wrestling. I don't see a reason why Defiant can't knock their shows out of the park, because you guys set the stage for the audience to see British wrestling, and I think it's incredibly popular because of you guys, in my opinion.
I think too.
It wasn't our choice to do the WCPW stuff. The praise there should go to our former bosses. It was their call. It was their business decision, and it's one that I think now they've got a bit of a battle on their hands, because certainly the hype around WCPW it's long gone, and that's just because hype dies out is the main one, but fairly inconsistent booking, which isn't always their fault, in fairness. It's really difficult to book guys month after month and get them involved in storylines. That's difficult, and you have people pulling out on last minutes and all that sort of stuff. I think that they're taking the right steps in getting more local talent, well, local to Britain, British talent, guys who are going to be around for the foreseeable future, because you can't build a company around Alberto El Patron coming in once every 2 months.
Oh yeah, very true.
I think they're doing the right thing.
I agree, and you talked about how it was What Culture's like whole decision to like do the wrestling company. So which I didn't know, and I'm curious. What was your thought, and like the rest of the guys' thoughts when they said like we're making a wrestling company, like, because I know for a fact I'd be like okay.
It's a weird one, like our audience is so WWE centric. A portion of them certainly watch New Japan, and then maybe 10% of them watch other independents, if that. I think it was a weird crossover of audiences, and I thought that from the beginning, because you just can't compete with WWE on their big feel, their production value, the theater. WWE just feels huge, and wrestling fans, especially the wrestling fans that watch our channel, the majority of them have been conditioned to look at that as what wrestling is, and that costs a huge amount of money. And so it was a confusing one when they said that they were going to start it. It was really exciting. I got to do loads and loads of cool stuff, bucket list stuff, like getting put through a table by Bully Ray and all that sort of stuff. Amazing, like the opportunities that afforded me. I don't know if it was ever the right thing to do. I think like if they get it to TV, then fantastic. And I think that they've got enough talent, certainly in the ring and behind the scenes, to make that happen and to make it a success if it does get to TV. I just think that getting that to TV is harder. It's easier said than done, isn't it?
Well, yeah, for sure. Because like you look at companies like Ring of Honor, and you wonder like how do they not have a bigger TV deal than they do? Like I know I was channels flipping and saw them on like a local television network, and I was like, Ring of Honor, like, because I thought they were only on like the Fight app. So you see these companies that have been around longer than Defiant is, and you think, God, how do they not have a TV deal? Because you get marks like me, who I would rather watch a Ring of Honor house show any day than tune into some WWE cards. It's like the matches and the work that these indie shows put in is like just so like just undeniably like there's no comparison. These wrestlers, they want to be where WWE is at, and they work their asses off, and it's almost alarming that some of these companies just unless you have that platform that What Culture provided, like you won't get recognized. Like I know until WCPW started, I had no idea who Joe Hendry was. And now, like I sing local hero about probably once a week because it's just so damn catchy. And so it's one of those things where it's like I definitely
agree. I think, as I say, the in-ring product, the stuff that happened between the ropes was never an issue with WCPW. All of the talent worked their asses off, and they were great. And the matches, like from start to finish, have always been really, really strong. But I think the inconsistent booking did harm it. And I think, I don't know. It'll be really interesting. I'm going to tune in. I'm going to get access to Defiant.
Yeah, and I mean, like that's the thing too is that that's the thing too is that when you introduce these talent to an audience, and let's say if someone latches onto someone like Joe Hendry, and then they immediately go down the rabbit hole and search for other Joe Hendry stuff, and you can see like his blue Eiffel 65 cover he did for ICW. And like when he faced off against Drew Galloway or Drew McIntyre, and then you find companies like ICW, and then you just start diving down a hole of just independent pro wrestling, and then you just never see outside light again because your life is professional wrestling now.
Totally. I think one thing that What Culture did tremendously well was making British wrestling accessible to a lot of people, and even like when they started charging for pay-per-views, it was always a really ridiculously reasonable price. Something that was actually competitive with the WWE network at $9.99, like What Culture Extra was cheap. It was $6.99. I think they did a really good job of doing that, and I think they'll continue to do that. I think they've got the right price point with access to Defiant, and I'll be really interested to see how it goes. I wish I could go to the show.
Oh yeah, and even if it doesn't go as well as they hope, I mean, you guys provided such incredible memories for people who tuned into WCPW. Your heel turn where like hundreds of people tossed glow sticks at you after you turned on Martin Kirby. That was one of the highlights of watching that. That was such an incredible moment that I loved it.
I loved doing the heel GM stuff. Yeah, I wish it had gone on a little bit longer. Like the original plan was for me and Kirby to have a match.
Oh man!
My God!
I'd have loved to have done it. I'd have really loved to, and I think they rushed it because it was for the most part. It sounds like I'm blowing my own trumpet, but I think it was a really big storyline for most of the fans watching it. It certainly felt like one of the biggest storylines, like before the Prestige came about. Mm-hmm. And I think we could have got a little bit more out of that. Like we wrote me off on the weekly show for free, and it's like I think people at that point would have probably paid to see me get beaten up. Mm-hmm. It was probably the wrong call, and I would have liked to. I'd have loved to have done that with Kirby. I love Kirby.
Yeah, and I feel like that you would be one of the best targets. I mean, like I don't want to make a huge call or anything like that, but I feel like you would be a great call for Kirby to finally hit his Zoidberg elbow, because that would have been a moment.
I think that's possibly what would have happened. It felt weird to me, that match. I loved that Rumble match. I think it was really good. I love a Rumble match anyway. But it felt weird for Kirby to both hit the elbow and win the title on the same night. I think they could have got 2 moments out of that.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing that you could say you could have booked better.
Yeah, I think so as well. But they were put into a difficult position with the departure of Drew, and that's the problem. Like half of the stuff that has had to happen, it's always been, as I said, it's because it's had to happen. Like Drew leaving made it really, really difficult to book, because we had stuff planned for Drew, and there's been lots and lots of things like that where guys have been unavailable for shows, and so I do feel for the What Culture guys having to book stuff which you never know who's going to be around the next month.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like one of the big things too was that like a good amount of talent, like during WWE's UK tournament, like all of a sudden you had a good amount of UK talent, including guys, just like Pete Dunne, like all of a sudden doing stuff for WWE, and now they're not available for you. So like anything that you had planned for them to do with WCPW has to be thrown out the window because they've got this huge commitment that they have to make. So I don't envy I don't envy that.
They seemingly never had any plans for Pete Dunne, which was bizarre.
Seriously?
Well, it seems.
No, it wasn't like that. It's just like he came in, he was introduced by Eric Bischoff, and then like immediately lost. It was just bizarre. Like the whole thing. I think maybe they knew he wasn't going to be around for that long, so like don't put him over too much. But like,
Well, it seems like WWE's got on that same kind of bout. Like, loses to Enzo Amore, or no, he beat Enzo.
No,
My
beat
bad.
Enzo, yeah. No.
But I don't know. I feel like Pete Dunne could be like a main event player for them.
They play his music, and then Kurt Angle comes out instead.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
I'm here to introduce. His name's on the Titantron. Like we know who's here. Just get out of the way, Kurt. No,
I agree. Well, obviously, I think they've got big plans for him, considering his closeness to Triple H. It seems to be he'll be fine. I think.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's so talented and so just an incredible heel that you can do so much with.
I think if they end up being able to keep Neville, I think a Neville versus Pete Dunne UK match at Mania would be incredible.
Oh, 100%, yeah. Because I feel like I feel like other than the people who watched the UK tournament and saw that and occasionally watch NXT where they show the title, not a lot of people really know that title exists. Mm-hmm. So to put that title on Mania, because I feel like you have enough areas where that title could fit in for a match at Mania, something like Neville and Pete Dunne, given enough time, could be an incredible match that could tear the roof off the place.
It could. I don't think they view the UK belt as big enough to do it.
I don't think so either. I just wish they would.
I really hope they do, but I don't think they will.
No, yeah. But yeah, I think that's all we got right now. So, I mean, thank you sincerely, Adam, so much for coming on to this little podcast.
Cool. I will speak to you guys soon. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, for sure. Make sure you go and subscribe to the Cultaholics YouTube channel if you haven't already.
Yep.
And
follow them on Twitter, support them on Patreon, check out their website. Just
check out We Are Defiant tomorrow live. I don't know if it's tomorrow. I don't know when this is airing.
Yeah, it's probably gonna air. We're hoping to get it to air on Monday. So hopefully, tonight.
Guys, check it out.
There you go. Yeah,
tune in tonight.
Yes, and follow Adam Pacitti, follow Ross, follow Jack, follow Sam. Just support these guys because these guys are truly incredible. They're super talented. They're super funny, and I cannot thank Adam enough for being on our little podcast.
And Adam, before you go, I also want to thank you because this was like easily the biggest and most fun interview that I've had in since I've started doing podcasting.
I'm sorry I kept you waiting for an hour and a half.
Oh, you're fine,
dude. We'd wait 2 hours. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning into this incredibly special edition of Ringmasters. I have been Austin. I am my friend Chad here.
Yep, and you can follow me at Twitter at TheChad100.
You can follow me on Twitter at SZoomer4 and follow Ringmasters at RingmastersPod. And again,
subscribe to the new YouTube channel.
Subscribe to the new YouTube channel, which will be up and running very soon. So yeah, we will catch you guys later.
You love it.
It's alright.